Welcome back to the She is Magic podcast. My name is Jaden, and it's been a long minute since we've been here. If you don't know much about me or you're new here, I am just a lover of people. I love to see people win, elevate, grow, and evolve. I want people to feel seen, heard, and to have a place to feel nourished while they're evolving. I recorded a podcast for a full year, probably over a year, and I've had over 100 episodes. I had made this commitment to myself and to anyone who was listening, all like 5 people, that I would show up consistently no matter what. On the days that I wanted to, on the days I didn't. I recorded even when I had nothing to talk about because that was my commitment and I had set a goal. I wanted to prove that I could do it, that I could follow through, and that I could be consistent. And I was. Some episodes were a little bit better than others. Some episodes, I'm not really sure how I made it through. So if I started this thing off with She is Magic and it's a new name, welcome to the middle of the next chapter. I have been feeling really called to get back here. I've actually been feeling called to get back on my podcast for a while, and I have ignored the calling. And we all know when we ignore the calling, things kind of keep folding or unfolding. And usually we hit a point where a shift has to happen. And we know that the only way that we're going to reach the next chapter or the next level in our life is to lean into the discomfort. So why was I ignoring it? Why was I avoiding that call? Well, I think because I knew how consumed I was before. And I know that at one point I stopped feeling like I had a purpose in it. I wasn't really sure what the goal was or why I was creating these episodes. I know that I wanted people to have somewhere to go and hear my words. And I wanted people to feel like they were walking life alongside somebody and they weren't alone. But I didn't really know what the purpose of my content was. And when I stepped away, the goal was to find that. But when I stepped away, my life was filled with a whole lot of other things. And my word going into 2025 might have set me up to show just how much I could hold. Expansion and creation were all part of the equation. And I really was testing my limits in a lot of different ways of how much I could carry. And I didn't create a framework that kept me coming back to me, that reminded me how important my own work was. You see, one of the things I've always said is that if you fill your cup so full, it will overfill. It will flow over, and the people around you will receive everything they need. But if you pour from your own cup, it gets empty. And when you're not continually pouring into yourself to have that overflow, you start to pour from your own cup. And I kind of abandoned my own belief in that. I allowed myself to get busy, and I think I had this fear that if I didn't know my purpose or my why, that I was wasting other people's time. That's not why I started this. And I think I really just needed to be reminded of what the purpose was. I have realized how important it is to have a framework or a system so that it's okay to venture out and try new things, but continuing to come back home to this space, continuing to come back to the space that lights me up and fills my cup and really continues to give me life. So I don't know what this thing's going to look like, to be fully honest. Last week, I hit this moment that I realized I needed a framework for my health. I had health goals I've been avoiding, and I needed to create a framework that made sense for me. And in creating that framework, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm coming up with something that could be so beneficial for so many people. Again, worried about how I could serve everyone else. And I had to stop myself. I allowed myself to think ahead for a moment. And yes, I have started that on the side to come back to, but I was creating the framework for me. So I set myself up with some new goals, some new systems, and really decided to become the CEO of my life, of where I'm at and where I'm headed. And so giving myself those weekly CEO meetings to really come back home and make sure I don't stray so far away that I have to find my way back to who I am and what keeps me lit up and excited and hungry for life. I saw a picture a few weeks ago, and honestly, it's crazy because as much as I was like not thrilled with the photo, weight used to be such a big piece of my concern. And it's a piece of my puzzle, but my ability to maintain my health and to feel my best has become so much more important than what a scale says. And that's such a huge victory for me because for so long, there was so much food noise that I couldn't look at a picture and not think of disappointment. Now, it's not to say that I didn't see the picture or step on the scale or actually look in the mirror and hold myself accountable and go, you haven't been doing the work. I did that. I had that moment. I had that breakdown. And I think that in a world where I'm surrounded by so many people who are using different things to help themselves lean out, and we've got social media that is so focused around, what do they call it? Heroin chic, like being as thin as possible. But sometimes you get a little bit distracted about what your goals are and what you want. And what I want is to be healthy. I want to be fit. I want to be strong. I want to be able to move and not be hurt. I want to be able to show up in my life fully and have energy. And honestly, I have not been disciplined enough in my own work to do what I needed for myself to be able to really look and think I should be in a different space than I currently am. So I'm giving myself grace. I'm meeting myself where I'm at right now. What would be a really easy thing for me to do would be to look back not that long ago. I mean, 10 years, to look back and compare myself to the habits I had when I was in the gym 2 times a week, 2 times a day, when I was training for fitness things and shows. And I was in such a different mental space and I wasn't present in my life. I was so focused on an end result and outside validation that I missed so much of what was happening in my world. But there were good things that came from that too. I know that most of you don't know my whole journey, and I'm not going to replay it right now. But what I will say is comparison is the thief of joy. So if there's anything I've learned over the last 10 years, it's to let myself be where I am now and set goals for where I want to go. Not in comparison of who I was or where I was at 10 years ago, because I'm looking forward. I'm becoming a new human in every single season that I am in. And where I'm meant to be and what I'm supposed to be doing isn't going to look the same as it was previously. So I feel like I just went on this huge, long ramble to basically tell you that I am reaching for my next chapter. And this podcast will be an opportunity for you to come along the way from the messy in between and the journey to come back home, find my peace, to set down some of the distraction and the noise, but with a cup so full because I'm taking the time to really dig in, to remember who I am, to allow myself to grow, to know it's not linear. And some days are going to be a whole lot easier than others. And really just create this framework right alongside of me. So if you stayed this long, if you're still in it, welcome to the new and improved piece of the puzzle, to the new season, to the next part of the journey where we recommit to loving ourselves, where I remember that I'm worthy of my own time. And hopefully along the way, you do too. I want this space to be all about nourishment. I want it to be real and raw. I'm going to come how I am in the space that I feel called to come. And I'm going to share where I'm at and what's happening in that time, in those moments. And hopefully I can share some of the things I'm learning, some of the pieces I'm pulling together, and my journey will help you feel not so alone. Because I know we've all been there. When we wake up and look in the mirror and we don't know how we got here, when we start to think, what if, or had I just, rather than how lucky am I to get another day and another opportunity. My season right now has been very heavy in showing up for a lot of people in my life. And I will continue to show up for a lot of people in my life because it's who I am and it lights me up and it's not wrong. And it's no one else's fault or responsibility to keep me true to myself. That's my job. So this is permission to start over, to meet yourself where you're at right here, right now, and to start to look forward at what you want the next year to look like. Listen, people want to look ahead 10, 5, 20 years. I'm just trying to look ahead to tomorrow and to know that I maybe know where I want to go and I have some direction, but I don't have to have all the answers. And then if I fall in love with the journey, I know when I'm in love with the journey, I get exactly where I'm supposed to go in the time I'm supposed to be there. So, in this space, everyone is seen. I want you to feel so seen. I want you to feel like when you're walking the path alongside of me, someone's hearing you. And I want you to know that evolution gets a little messy and it can be hard and it can be difficult and it can be uncomfortable. But this space is about nurturing yourself in the process of that evolution. So welcome back. Hopefully you'll see me every week. That's the goal. I'm not overcommitting because if I don't have anything worth sharing with you, I probably won't. But as long as I'm pouring into myself and I'm staying committed, I have a feeling I'll have a whole lot more to say. I hope you make it the best week ever. My biggest reminder to you is that you are responsible for who and how you show up in this life. Show up on purpose. Choose where you spend your time and energy wisely. And give each and every day a little more intention. We'll see you soon.